Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you came back to visit. I'm gonna be doing a story time. We gonna pick a card. Gonna do story time. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first card I have. What would you most like to learn how to do on a computer? I would like to do like some type of 3D type of art of some type, so maybe some type of graphic design. Um, I like different styles of arts and colors and just different fun things. So I would like to learn that on the computer. And I would like to learn everything about the computer actually one day. um, we'll see about that. So I would say that. Let's see if I can pull another card. Do you possess any of the qualities of your astrological signs? Yes, I am a Leo, a fire sign. I can be very loving. I can be very patient. I can be very humble. I'm very much a people person. I'm not the jealous type. I'm not the ha ha he he type. I'm not, because for me it's more like a time and a place. When it's time to hide, yeah, I do that. But when it's time to be serious, I'm very serious. Um, I can be very nice and sweet as pie, but then I can blow the house off the roof at the same time if I'm driven to that point. Um, I am a giver. I love helping others, and it helps me as well. Um, I enjoy my side. I am a leader. Um, been a leader all my life. Um, and yeah, so I would say, yeah, I do. You know, so Leo, shout out to all the Leos out there. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do. So moving on, let's go to the next card. What's your favorite song to play in the car? Y'all, I don't have a playlist. I don't have a playlist in my car at all. I'm usually just meditating or listening to the radio or letting my daughter be the DJ. I let her, take control of the music. And that's pretty much it. So that's how my rides be in the car. So let's get another card. What's the hardest thing you've ever done? It's so many things that was the hardest thing I ever done. The hardest, I can name a lot. I'm just trying to see where to start. When I was younger, my dad lived in, my biological father, he lived in New York, and I lived in North Carolina. And I remember that we had a friend of the family, my mom, and he pretty much stepped in and helped us. My mom is a mother of three, and um, I'm the youngest of three, and I used to spend a lot of time with this family friend, He was not, he was something like a father figure to me as a child, the way I viewed it. And we would have so much fun together. You know, he would help me, you know, with my homework. He would make sure I'm home, you know, make sure, you know, cook for me, um, you know, just spend fatherly time with me, even though he wasn't my biological father. I looked up to him because he was older and he was full of wisdom. Although he was kind of the quiet type, um, I just knew that he was special to me and my family. And, you know, I can remember because I used to love eating a lot of like penny candy from the store. And I would be like, "Can you take me to the store to get some candy? Take me get get some candy." And we would walk to the store, which would be around the block, and we would get candy. And he would have conversations with me like, you know why I go to work every day? I go to work to take care of you. Even though I'm not your dad, you still mine. I consider you mine. You know, and I was in elementary school back then, but even now, me being older, I can still recall those childhood moments, and they were great. And I think he died when he was like in 70, maybe. And it was real hard because he had gotten sick, and my mom, this didn't happen all at one time. This happened a few years from the time that I had known him. So maybe like 8 years later, maybe, give or take. And he had gotten sick, and my mom, you know, had just got remarried, and it was a lot of stuff taking place. And I had a lot of drama going on in my life as well, even from a young age. And when my mom got married, you know, I found out that he had gotten sick. I was used to always calling him on the telephone, talking to him, speaking to him. And, you know, me and my stepdad, new stepdad, wasn't seeing eye to eye at the time. I was a teenager. We were bumping heads. This, you know, rest my stepdad's soul was bumping heads because I was used to doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't trying to follow no rules. And then, you know, I got the news that the friend of the family was in the hospital. So my mom took me up there and we talked to him, and he was always humble, so humble. That's what I recall and remember about this family friend. He was so humble, and I just, you know, remember him just laying in the hospital bed, but he didn't tell me and my mom that he was sick. You know what I'm saying? So I just remember coming out my room, y'all. I may get a little bit emotional because that's how I am at times. And I came out my room and my mom was on the phone talking to somebody she know. And she was just like, he dead. You know, she was just on the phone. Like, he dead. You know. And I just collapsed. I just collapsed. I just literally collapsed in the hall floor. Almost like I just passed out. Because me and this family of the friend bond was so strong. Every time I would get in trouble, he would hop on my mama behind about me. Every time we out to get in trouble, he would take her for me. Don't you touch her. Don't you hit her. You know. And I love him, and you know, I'm grateful that even though my biological father wasn't there at the time, that I did have a father figure who could help make sure that I was safe at night. And so we found out that this friend of the family had cancer, and you know, that was the first time of me understanding and learning about the illness, of cancer. And so that was the hardest thing, saying goodbye at his funeral. Um, he had a lot of kids, and his kids didn't know who I was, but I was sitting on the front row, just devastated, and just saying goodbye to him was hard. So I went through that. Yeah, and so then the another hardest thing I had to do is um, I'm trying to keep it in order as the order went. So that was in elementary, middle school. Um, the first time I was involved in a little relationship, when I was younger, I was a kid, I started early because I used to run the streets. And sorry y'all, hold up. And so you know, had a lot of breakups and things like that, and some relationships I was closer to my friends than others and things like that. But separating from certain relationships was very, very hard and challenging for me. Um, when I was in ninth grade, I was going through so much drama. And I failed the ninth grade, and I was traumatized. And my mom was like, she was not going to pay for me to go to summer school. So I had to work and get the money up and pay for my own summer school. And I had to stay with somebody temporarily just to make sure I got back and forth. The, the night school, and I had to go to work, And I was in ninth grade, and that was very, very hurtful to me. That I allowed distractions to get in the way of me getting ahead as far as my education pertaining to my future. So that was rough for me. And God made a way, and I still graduated at 17 and graduated on time. That was hard for me. And when I'm gonna wrap this up because there's so many hard things I went through in my life, for real, y'all. But losing my dad, it's been about almost 2 years now. That has been really, really hard for me because I'm a daddy's girl and I'm my dad's only child. And me and my dad always had this weird connection. But he always keep it 100 with me. I always keep it 100 with him. Um, and I act just like my dad at times. And so I'll talk about my dad in some other videos. But losing my dad was very, very devastating to me. But I'm blessed that I got to spend time with my dad 1 month before he passed away. So I was grateful. My boss, she had gave me time off for work, the time that I needed to go to New York to spend time with him. And, I was just like a little girl all over again. But that's bittersweet, situation. And we'll talk about it in another video. But those are some of the hardest things that I had to do. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because I done went past my time. Thank y'all. Be blessed.